The Seventh Tower by Garth Nix. Book 2, Castle. Chapter 22. Milla was lying in the crystal globe, saving her strength and pretending to be asleep when she heard the sudden clang of metal hitting stone. She didn't react obviously, but her head moved slightly toward the sound, and her eyes opened to narrow slits. Had her jailer returned and tripped over some of his own apparatus? Whatever had happened, it was in one of the dark corners of the hall. The globe was still brightly lit by beams of colored light that continued to run through the silver wires. Everywhere else was dark. Or was it? Milla watched a small light blossom in the far corner, a surreptitious light that moved slowly toward her. Milla opened her eyes a little more, peering at it. She could see shapes around the light. And she could hear whispering as well. It sounded like the old man, Tal's great-uncle, whatever that meant. Milla had uncles, but not great ones.
Probably have to carry her, he was saying. Mine turned to jelly. Chance of recovery, mind you.
Milla kept silent. This could be a trick. But when she heard another whisper, she almost called out. It was Tal.
She looks all right.
Who did you say? Fashnik?
Asleep, if we're lucky.
They came up to the globe. Milla kept still, though she was surprised to see that both were sodden and covered in little bits of dark muck that looked like the seaweed the mother crone had served them in the rune ship. Ebbet cautiously moved the metal stands and their sunstones, pointing their beams up to the ceiling. Tal touched the globe, then tapped on it, near Milla's face. She sprang up, and he jumped back.
Milla! Who else would I be?
Asked Milla. But she smiled, clearly with some effort, for it only lasted an instant.
You're all right, exclaimed Tal. What happened?
The man who was half-shadow tried to change my dreams, Milla said. But I called the crones, and they came to my dream and scared him away.
Really?
Asked Ebbet.
I'd like to meet one of these crones. I never married, but anyone who could— Not now, uncle, said Tal firmly, noticing Milla's expression.
Where's Fashnik?
He left, replied Milla. Can you release me? I have not found the trick of opening this prison.
Sure, said Tal, but it proved easier said than done. The globe appeared to be solid crystal. Under bright light there were lots of tiny holes in the bottom of it, but they couldn't help get Milla out. While Tal pored over the globe, trying to find a switch, lever, or something to open it, Ebbet wandered about, looking at the sunstones on their metal stands. The stands stood in grooved tracks on the floor, so they could be accurately placed. Several books were laid out on a table beyond the ring of sunstones. Ebbet flipped through them with interest, while his spirit shadow stood guard near the door. Finally, Tal had to admit that he couldn't find a way to open the globe. I suppose we'll have to wait for Fashnik, he said. I guess I can blind him, and then we'll tie him up and make him open the globe. Milla shook her head.
He has 3 shadows with him, as well as the one that grows from his flesh, she said. You could not overcome them all. 3 spirit shadows? Stuttered Tal. He can't. He could, said Ebbet. No one ever sees Fashnik. Well, no one he doesn't want to see. I suppose he must see someone, or someone must see him.
Sushin, Tal declared. He's the one behind everything. He's got a new spirit shadow, too. I just don't understand what he wants.
I never understand, said Ebbet. Plots and schemes, secret meetings, it's all too hard. What's the point of going violet anyway?
Tal shook his head, ignoring the old man. Sometimes he really didn't understand his great-uncle. Besides, whatever Sushin was up to, it wasn't anything as normal as trying to climb to a higher order. He could do that the regular way, without putting people in pits and kidnapping children.
By the way, Ebbet added, that book over there is very interesting. Did you know this globe was originally invented to help people with their dreams? Not to give them nightmares at all. The castle builders were really very clever.
Did it tell you how to open the globe? Asked Tal crossly, before Ebbet could blather on about what the globe used to be used for. Naturally, Ebbet replied. He raised his ring and sent a quick combination of colored lights at the globe. As they hit, there was a ringing sound, like a tuning fork or a crystal glass being struck. The globe split in half like an oyster. Milla jumped out and stretched. Then she clapped her fists together to Ebbet, showing thanks and respect. Tal waited for her to do it to him as well, but she didn't. Instead, she immediately started looking for her Merwin hornsword and armor. "Where do we go now?" asked Tal nervously. "We'll have to hide somewhere. I'll need to put together some sort of disguise so I can go looking for the Codex and Gref." Replied Ebbet. He was momentarily intent on cleaning out his ear, which had suffered from an intrusion of the green weed. "I've been thinking about that, and thinking about my thinking, and then thinking about me thinking about my thinking, and—" Tal interrupted. "The Codex is probably an Aenir." "Why?" "Because there is no power in the castle that could restrain the Codex if it wanted to be consulted," said Ebbet. "But there is an Aenir. The Codex is almost alive, my boy. It was made to be read. If it was in the castle, it would have found a way for people to consult it. Therefore, it must be an Aenir. You'll have to bring it back." "Right," said Tal slowly. "I can't believe this all started because I needed one sunstone." "Is that when it started?" Ebbet asked innocently. "I think you'll find that whatever it is, it started long ago. Sushin is not the only one with secret business and strange ways, and your father is not the only chosen who is missing, nor is Gref the only child. I should have looked into matters long ago, but I missed my chance. I think it is long past time someone did what I didn't, and brought the Codex back and set all to rights. You seem to be just the right person for the job." Tal looked at Ebbet. For once, the old man seemed quite serious. He wasn't smiling dreamily, or cleaning his ear, or staring at something no one else could see. "Well, there's one thing I can do right now," Tal said, "and that is to get Milla a sunstone." He reached out to grab the one closest to him, one that was set in a clawed hand atop a silver stand. But before his fingers closed on it, Ebbet grabbed him and twisted his arm away. "Not one of those," said Ebbet. "They're full of nightmares, full of evil dreams. No use to a charming young ice-carl." Milla snorted, though Tal wasn't sure if this was because of the nightmare-filled sunstone, or because Ebbet had called her charming. She'd found her charred armor and put it back on. She had also reclaimed her Merwin hornsword. "I have seen enough of your castle, and enough of its shadows," she announced. "Give me the sunstone, Tal, so I may return to the clean ice." Tal looked at the ring. He could understand why Milla wanted to take it and go, but he still needed it. "What about the 13 sleeps?" 12 now," said Milla sternly. "I will wait if I must. But I am asking you now as a friend of the clan, Tal. The clan whose blood you share." Tal looked at the ring again, then at Milla. He did feel that he owed her something. It was his fault she'd gotten captured and been taken here to the Hall of Nightmares. She was also clearly at risk in the castle. Perhaps he should give her the sunstone. It might even be easier for him to not have to worry about Milla.